going to win this game tonight, if I had a gun to my head and forced to pick, I would say that the Dodgers are the definitely should be the favorite, the small favorite, which they are, minus 128. But I would not be shocked to see Houston, come in and get to Darvish early and really make this a hole for the boys in blue
remember,
to come crawling out.
Visit LasVegasDiscount.net so you can go and bet on this stuff. Right now, I can't stress it enough. The Mandalay Bay really needs guests, and they're having a bit of an issue. So go to LasVegasDiscount.net and go stay at the Mandalay Bay. You're not going to see prices. This is peak travel time right now for them, and you can get a weekend rate of about $125, which is crazy for Mandalay Bay.
And if you do happen to go to Mandalay Bay by chance, make sure when you're walking into your hotel room, you get some footage of the hallway.
I'll make
shoot
sure
that over to me.
I'm actually thinking of staying there next week.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, if you do, let me know. I've been so, with my girlfriend's new schedule and stuff, it's hard for us to, her working graveyard for a few weeks. It's difficult for us to go have a little staycation, but I'd like to get some video of those hotel hallways. I don't really remember what the hallways look like, and I'd like to take a look at the camera situation.
So, LasVegasDiscount.net. Again, join us next Saturday at Tough Enough. All right, let's talk about the real moneymaker. It is the most bet-on thing in the United States by far. It is fantasy. It is betting. It is the reason people get bloody noses in parking lots. It is pro football. And I have watched way too much of it this season to tell you that everybody is just average. There are two teams that are not average, and those two teams are clearly not average. They are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody else is mortal this season, by far. Let's start off with Thursday night. I'm sure you're chomping at the bit. The 5-2 Buffalo Bills are taking on the New York Jets. Buffalo is -3 in that matchup.
Yeah, this game is this doesn't look good for the Jets here in this game. The Bills are rolling. The Jets, once again, finding creative ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Coaching is terrible. I don't know how long I have to say this. Too bad Woody Johnson's busy being the ambassador to England and not worrying about the New York Jets, because this team is in disarray. I mean, look, the front office is terrible. The players on the field, they're doing their job. Look, those guys are going out, they're performing. Nobody's quit on the team, but the play calling is just atrocious. The game planning is atrocious. I mean, Bowles stands there like a knot on a log. It's just so frustrating. I like the Bills in this game. I like them, especially now that it dropped down to -3 from the -3.5. I like the Bills on the half point, but on the end, on the teaser, I'll be betting the Jets, of course, +9 at home. I think this will be a close game, but I could see the Bills easily winning this game by 5 or 6 points.
Baltimore taking on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is -4.5. It's kind of a pick-em. The muddle in the middle. Who's actually going to watch
this game right here? Like the Ravens and the Titans. The Ravens is one of those teams, like I was talking about earlier in the show a couple of weeks ago. You just never know what you're going to get with these guys. I have no desire to bet on a team where you just have you don't know from week to week what's happening with these teams. So this is one of those games. If you want to bet it, I'd probably maybe look at the over in this game. I mean, why not? But I really have no desire one way or the other in this game.
10 o'clock game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New Orleans Saints. I think Tampa Bay is better than their record's letting on, but New Orleans is a 7.5 favorite.
Yeah, this game here is I like the Saints in this game on the tees big time. I like this game down at 1.5, a one-score game, a field goal type game. I could totally see it, being that way. The Buccaneers have a lot of weapons on offense. I don't think we've seen the full display of their offensive firepower yet. They just haven't been clicking on all cylinders. The Saints, however, have decided to show a little bit of mettle this year. Has to be Breeze's his swan song, right? A few years left, maybe tops. He can't be there for much longer. So these guys are rallying around Drew this year. They're 5-2. They're 2-1 at home. They got through a tough trap game last week with the Bears. I like the Saints in this game. I like them at the -7. If it's at 7.5, I would stay away from that. The half point ruins it for me. But I'm definitely teasing this one down as well and getting it down to the 1.5. I love that.
Rams are taking on the New York Giants. The Rams are -3. I think this is a gift. I think the Rams coming off the bye, I think you don't want to give that team that kind of time to plan. They're red hot right now. I think this is a bad afternoon for the Giants.
I agree with you. The Giants still haven't proven anything to me. Look, this Giant team they're not very good. Let's be honest. They have a lot of good players, but they're not playing very good. It comes down to, is McAdoo the guy? Is he the proper guy to be coaching the New York Giants? I mean, well, let's revisit to why he's even there. I mean, a lot of people were talking about the reason he was there is because Odell Beckham wanted him to be there. I don't think that's the way to run a team, and I don't know if that's factual, but if that is the case, I mean, you got to think that the Giants coaching job is a pretty enticing gig for some big name people, and to go with a guy like McAdoo, I didn't like it when they did it then, and I'm still not a fan of that move. So, the Rams at 3.5, the half point is kind of because this could be a 3-point game. I mean, it depends on what happens, but I think the Rams at -3.5 is a good bet here. I think teasing them is even a better bet, and I think you see the Rams go in there and they definitely win by one score at least in this one.
An interesting game. I don't think it's going to be much of a game since Philadelphia just picked up in a trade. Is it my imagination, or is Mr. Ajay now a Philadelphia Eagle?
Well, no, he is, and that gives them LeGarrette Blount and Ajay now.
What a platoon.
Talk about
I hope they go to a
1-2 combination.
Setup. I don't know how long it's going to take Ajay to get comfortable in that offense, but he's definitely going to be the banger on shorts and third downs. But that's to be seen. Denver Broncos are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is -9.5. I like them up to about 10.5, to be perfectly honest. I think they're going to win by 2 full touchdowns.
All right. Yeah, I think that you aren't smoking meth with that kind of thought. I think that it's quite possible they even win by 3 touchdowns in this game. I mean, look, Denver's coming in. We've heard about the vaunted defense and this, that, the other thing. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it this year. I'm not buying that this is the same Denver team that we've been sold the last few years. Their quarterback situation is putrid there. What did I say on this show about their quarterback? He is not the guy. They need to get somebody in there that can manage the game with a defense like that. If they had a game manager over there, a guy like, a Trent Dilfer from, the Baltimore Ravens in 2000, yeah, this is a type of team that could really give people some problems. Simeon isn't that guy. Nobody's game planning for Simeon. Look, this Denver team, they have some problems. They have some holes. They're very, very, quite likely are going to get blown out this week.
Atlanta Falcons take on Carolina Panthers. It's a straight pick 'em.
Yeah, you know what? I see this game as a pick 'em, no doubt about it. But after watching Atlanta last week against the Jets, I am not impressed. Not impressed in the least. So I like Carolina in this game. The game's in Carolina. Atlanta they're not that good. I'm sorry, the Jets should have won that game. If it wasn't for coaching and bad game management like usual, that game's a whole different story. But in this game here, I think Carolina is a good solid bet at a pick 'em, and I really like them at +6 on the
taking
tees.
on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Excuse me. Wow. Choked on my own spit. Cincinnati Bengals have got 3 victories strictly because of their defense. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are -4.5 coming into this game. I think you have to give them 45. I think Blake Bortles and Jacksonville are a force to be reckoned with. If they can figure out what they are, they could be dangerous.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville, like you just said, they're searching for their identity. When they came in, when the Jets played them, it wasn't, I wasn't blown away by Jacksonville, but you could see that they had a lot of pieces, and they're starting to put it together a little bit now. And Bortles is a good quarterback. Look, this is a pretty good team. I mean, you got it opened at 3.5. Now it's up to 4.5. So, a lot of money's been coming in on Jacksonville, obviously. And I like that trend. I usually don't like to, bet with the public because you know how I feel about the public. But in this instance, I think that they're onto something here. Jacksonville minus 4.5 is a good bet, and then when you tease it and you get the Jacksonville plus 1.5,
Indianapolis
it's an even better
versus
bet.
the Houston Texans. The Texans are minus 14. I think you could. Man, you're right at the cap on that. I don't know. Like, there's something about Indianapolis that keeps most of their games relatively close. Okay.
Yeah, it's down to 12.5 now. So it's a little bit more stomach, a little bit easier for me to digest, I guess I would say. But like I always say, I'm not really big on double-digit point spreads in the NFL. I don't really like hanging those kind of point spreads. It's just not. I'm not comfortable with it. This is the pros. These guys are all professional football players, and on the gridiron, anything can happen.
Right.
What if Deshaun Watson gets hurt? A lot of things can happen. I'm not interested in 12.5 really here, but I am interested in teasing it down. I will tease it down and get it down to 6.5, and I'm comfortable with that winning by a touchdown in this one.
Arizona Cardinals minus 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. I get the whole San Francisco's due and they're close. It's not going to happen in Arizona.
If this game was a week later, I'd be all over the 49ers in this game because of the trade of getting Garoppolo from the Patriots. I'm really high on Garoppolo. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's going to be really good.
Nope.
I don't think he has enough time to learn the playbook. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to start him, and if they do, I think it'll be a mistake. They'd have to go really, really, really vanilla. And for as tough as I am on Arizona, I still think that they have a pretty good defense. So I think that would be a bad idea for San Francisco. So I agree with you. This week, now it's up to -2, Arizona -2. So I agree with you there a little bit that they should win this game, no doubt about it. But I'm not really high on Arizona enough to back the Brinks truck up, even though I like the number and I like where it's looking. This is a game where I'm going to have it on the parlay. I'm going to have it at the -2, win by a score, and I'm definitely going to tease it to give myself a little cover. And maybe they lose by a field goal here because, like I said, Arizona is not world beaters.
Taking on the
that.
Seahawks. The Seahawks are -8. I like the Skins and the points in this game. Okay,
yeah,
great. I'm all
down
over
to now.
it.
It's down
and
to 7.
Tease down, it's
so,
even better. Tease up, I mean.
Yep.
So
So
yeah,
it's
if you can
Seattle
give me the
-7
Skins and a couple
now.
of points, I like that game a lot.
Yeah, if you tease the Skins up here, you have them by 13, which is a pretty safe spot with in a pro football game like last week. Anytime I can get some double digits, I like to grab them in teasers. If it's a good spot, if we're not talking about Cleveland, obviously, but if you can score double digits on a team like the Bears, they might not win, but they're in all these games they're playing this year. So it's the same situation going on up here in this one. I like Washington a lot. They haven't been winning all these games, but they've been in all of these games.
Really is.
And Cousins is really good.
Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the AFC, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. They're saying a pick 'em. I'm backing up the truck on this. How am I getting Kansas City at nothing? I got to give up nothing to have them beat up a sub-rate Dallas Cowboys.
I'm in agreement 100%. I like Kansas City. I think that's the play of the week this week. I'm not sold on the Cowboys. I never have been. They have Elliott's a good ball player. Dak Prescott is not as great as they try to make him out to be. I'm not as high on Des Bryant as I once was. I think he's a bit hobbled. I think he's still struggling with some injuries that, maybe not injuries that are going to keep him off the field, but nagging injuries that don't keep him in peak shape that you need to be in to perform at the NFL level. So I like Kansas City here. I like him. It's -1 now. It's going against the public trend, which is the public trend. 51% of the public is on Dallas. So that bodes well for us here. So I'm going with Kansas City as well. I like that as the game of the week. I think Kansas City busts Dallas in the grill. I could see this even turning into a bit of a laugher and Kansas City pulling out a 10-point win.
The evening
here.
game on Sunday night, Oakland Raiders taking on Miami Dolphins. Oakland's giving up 3. I like Miami and the points in this.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm going to go the other way in this one. I think that there's a bit of trouble going on down there in Miami. I mean, right before Jai was traded, you have the coach talking about, well, the running back needs to do his job. What sort of leadership is that? When you're the leader of a football team full of men, you need to take responsibility, say, hey, it's on me. And then if you have a problem with the running back, you need to talk with him in the locker room about that. You can't be airing family business into the public like that, into the media. It's unwanted. It's unneeded attention. You have guys like me talking about it then. So I think that things aren't good in Miami right now. I've never been sold on what they have going on down there. I like Oakland minus the 3 in this game. I like Oakland to win, honestly, by more than that, probably by a touchdown in this game. I'm just not a fan of what Miami has going on, especially now with the Jai gone.
Cleveland lost during the bye break, so they're now 0-9. Yeah,
Cleveland fans throwing the parade.
Final game, Monday night game. It is what they call, what is that?